Hey, what's up, nerds? Paul here at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Today we are looking at Tzeentch in Slaves to Darkness. Now, this one's a little bit interesting, a little bit different than the others. So, our Aura of Chaos begins with being able to re-roll saves of 1 for attacks that target friendly Slaves to Darkness Tzeentch units wholly within 12 inches of a Tzeentch hero. Our aura for our general is ignore the effects of a spell on a 5-up, a spell or endless spell. Now, it's important to note how that's worded, that you're ignoring the effects of a spell. You're not preventing, say, mortal wounds. So when you have a unit that already has a mortal wound save, and they're getting hit with a spell that does mortal wounds, you would check this first, see if you ignore the spell entirely, and then see if you can prevent the mortal wounds. So this gets around that issue of ward save stacking that we had out of the new General's Handbook. So in general, like, these are fairly useful abilities. It gives you some nice defense to magic. Magic is really powerful in the meta right now, so just being able to go no is pretty powerful. And re-rolling saves of 1 is never bad. You just get, free Mystic Shield on everything. All right, so our Fate-Sworn Warband is our battalion. So at the start of your hero phase, you can pick 1 unit from the battalion that has 9 or more models. And the battalion requires 10 models total, 1 Slaves to Darkness Tzeentch hero, 9 mortal Slaves to Darkness Tzeentch units. So you pick a unit with 9 or more models. If you do so at the end of that phase, that unit can attempt to cast 1 spell and attempt to dispel 1 endless spell. And it knows the Stolen String spell, which goes off on a 7. If successfully cast, you pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the casting unit. And you worsen the rend characteristic of that unit's melee attacks by 1 until your next hero phase. And a unit can't be affected by this more than once per turn. That's really interesting. There's a couple of interesting things here. So it doesn't say it turns them into a wizard. So they're not getting access to your spell lore. They're not getting access to Mystic Shield and Arcane Bolt. They're just getting the Stolen Sting spell. It's a pretty good spell, although there's some armies out there that just have no rend. So this spell could just do nothing. 10 total units can be a tall order sometimes as well. So that's something to keep in mind here. This one might be a little bit difficult to actually build a list around. And, I'm not sure that this ability is really that valuable, because all you're doing is, getting 1 extra spell a turn that is maybe not even that useful. So let's look at our Demon Prince. So our command ability for Tzeentch on our Demon Prince, you can use it at the start of your hero phase if the model has a Tzeentch keyword. If you do, pick 1 friendly Slaves to Darkness wizard wholly within 12 inches. Add 1 to casting rolls for that unit until the end of the phase. So you're spending a command point to get +1 to cast. That can be really powerful depending on how you're building your list. If you run, Kabbalists and, some other specific things, you can build a pretty powerful magic army out of Slaves to Darkness, and this could be a good combination with that. Otherwise, just a command point to get +1 to casting rolls for 1 wizard for 1 turn. The interesting things here, is a Slaves to Darkness wizard, so it does not have to be also marked Tzeentch. Just the Demon Prince needs to be marked Tzeentch to do this. And you do have the Gaunt Summoner, who is a double caster. And I believe there is an artifact in at least one of, I believe it's in Kabbalists, that gives you an extra spell to cast. And my dog is coming to visit. You can just go over there, buddy. Hang out for a little while. So, you possibly get 2 spells out of this, which is a lot better than 1, certainly. So I think it's conditionally useful. It's kind of maybe something you want to build around or build into your army. If you're really building around magic, he could be a good addition, as even if you're not marking the rest of your army Tzeentch, if you're going heavy on magic, he could be valuable just to have a Tzeentch marked Demon Prince. And finally, our Chaos Warshrine, our Favor of Tzeentch, gives the unit reroll save rolls for attacks that target that unit until your next hero phase. So that is a better version of our Aura of Chaos, which is rerolling 1s to save. And if that unit has the Tzeentch keyword, you ignore the effects of spells on a 4+. Now, the question I would have, and I should have looked at the FAQ before I looked at this, is whether or not this stacks with the Aura of Chaos ability, or if it would work like the ward save, redundant save ruling. So I will have to look that up and put it down in the comments or in the description below. And yeah, so that's about it on Tzeentch. So what are you really getting out of Tzeentch is a lot of defense. You're getting reroll saves of 1, reroll saves from your Warshrine. You're getting boosted magic from your Battalion and from your Demon Prince of Tzeentch. Now, we have sort of a nombo here. It would be really nice if your Fatesworn Warband ability actually gave them the wizard keyword until end of turn, but it does not. So your Demon Prince can't buff that unit that is getting the spell from the Battalion, the Stolen Sting, to put that on a 6 to cast, which would be much more reasonable. So it would be nice if you could do that, but it does not appear to be possible. So in general, what are we getting from Tzeentch? Again, it is more defense against spells, re-rolling saves of 1 against melee attacks, and then our aura off of our prayer off of the Chaos Warshrine is basically doing a better version of your Aura of Chaos, rerolling all saves and getting to ignore spells on a 4+. So Tzeentch is an interesting one. Very magic oriented and very defensively oriented. So building out a Tzeentch force, I would think you would probably want a bunch of good spellcasters behind walls of units with tough saves that will be re-rolling stuff. So it's definitely a possibility. It kind of lets you go a little bit more maybe MSU on your Chaos Warriors rather than having at least 10 to re-roll saves, because you can get the re-rolls from your Favor of Tzeentch. So yeah, that's about it on Tzeentch. Not a lot to this one. I feel like this is one of the weaker marks that you can give your units. So I can see some uses for the Tzeentch Demon Prince as a one-off, just like Khorne Demon Prince as a one-off can be valuable. but I think, yeah, I'm not sure about the utility of the rest of this. The Fatesworn Warband is really, I think, not that great. And, you know, your Aura of Chaos and your Warshrine are kind of doing the same thing. The Warshrine is just giving you a better version of it. So that is all that I have for now on Tzeentch, and thus concludes the series of the series on the different chaos marks that you can give your Slaves to Darkness models. I'm going to be moving on to some other topics after this. Going to be doing like a kind of getting started in Slaves to Darkness video up next. And you can probably hear my dog chomping on stuff in the background because he loves to destroy things. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll talk to you all later.